Army WTF moments. This is WTF Nation Radio. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
I don't know shit about fuck.
All right, everybody. Welcome to Friday Night Freedom on this 5th of November 2021. Before I begin the show, I do want to make an announcement. It's not such a happy announcement, but it needs to be said. On this day 12 years ago, Fort Hood, Texas witnessed one of the most heinous and disrespectful acts of senseless violence in American history. A terrorist by the name of, I'm not saying his name, a United States soldier himself betrayed his country and his fellow soldiers when he opened fire inside a readiness center on base. By the time he was wounded and stopped, he had killed 13 people and wounded 32 others. Michael Grant Cahill, age 62, of Cameron, Texas. Major Eduardo Caraveo, age 52, of Woodbridge, Virginia. Staff Sergeant Justin M. DeCrow, 32, of Evans, Georgia. Captain John Gaffney, age 56, of San Diego, California. Specialist Frederick Green, age 29, of Mountain City, Tennessee. Specialist Jason Dean Hunt, age 22, of Frederick, Oklahoma. Sergeant Amy Kruger, age 29, of Kiel, Wisconsin. PFC Aaron Thomas Nemelka, age 19, of West Jordan, Utah. PFC Michael Pearson, age 22, of Bolingbrook, Illinois. Captain Russell Seeger, age 51, of Racine, Wisconsin. Private Francesca Veliz, age 21, of Chicago, Illinois. Lieutenant Colonel Juanita Warman, age 55, of Havre de Grace, Maryland. And PFC Kam Jiang, age 23. Rest in peace. All right, enough of that. I hate starting off shows with memorable events that sucked. So that's how I start the show today, because it has to be. I couldn't figure out a place to fit it in the show, so I figured just rip off the Band-Aid and do it at the beginning, huh?
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
What's going on, everybody? I think I already welcomed everybody to Friday Night Freedom here on the 5th of November, man. We're already in November, and you know what that means. The entire month of November is the Marine Corps' birthday, right? We already have folks at work. All the Marines are already, wishing each other happy birthday and shit. So, Marines, but we will have cake on Thursday, and they have a really cool ceremony. They cut the cake with a sword and stuff, so that's pretty cool.
That's cool. Is the cake like a Crayola box?
It's not. It's just it's a big sheet cake that they have the. It sucks because the Army doesn't do anything, the Navy doesn't do anything, Air Force doesn't do anything, but these Marines just go all out for their birthday, man. So we will have cake and stuff and things on Thursday.
Promise punch and pie.
Punch and pie. So we got Veterans Day coming up too on this Thursday as well. So that'll be cool. Veterans Day is always cool. I think Ice talked about it a little bit last night about kind of like the free stuff, Applebee's and whatnot. Have you ever done the like free ice cream or Applebee's thing?
I did the Gold Corral one year, and you see the line outside, but it's amazing how like courteous everyone is about it. It's like they sit, they eat, they get out. They don't sit and have a conversation. They sit, eat, get out because they know other people. It's actually, it looks like a defect line the way everyone just kind of eats.
Oh,
Once they're done, they get up and leave. You know, and it works out.
That's kind of cool. I've only taken part in it once. Took the family to Applebee's. Because they're like, Dad, the veterans get a free main meal or something at Applebee's. I'm like, okay, let's go to Applebee's. And we went to Applebee's. And it was just, there was a line. And just like you said, it moved really quick. You get your name on a list and they'll just, call you when you get there or when they get to you. But I haven't done it since.
I haven't done it in a long, long time.
I don't know why. It feels weird, I guess.
Oh no, Hooters isn't really a thing anymore in my area, I don't think. But
no?
The free wings, I'm down for that. And I love chicken wings. But
that's kind of funny. What's up, Heath? Draco Reznov, hello. Elizabeth, welcome. Brian and Steven, I think he gave us his hello message. Penis. Yep, that's him. Sarah Muller. Sorry to hear about your internet. She's not pleased.
What's that? What's wrong with her internet?
She says it sucks ass.
Oh, well. It could be like in my area where they're ripping people off, giving them 4 megabits a second, not telling them and making pay full price for it.
Oof.
Yeah.
As far as I know, I got 100.
I got a 200 down, but my upload is just heinous.
It's fiber, so it's 100 down, 100 up, which is cool. I like that.
I wouldn't mind that. Would not mind that at all.
I don't use it all. I tend to buy things and just not use it to its full potential. So I got, everybody, hey, I think after Thanksgiving, I'm going to have my new computer all set up. I just got it from FedEx today. And boy, was that that was kind of a fiasco. See, I got a shipping notification last week that says, hey, it's going to be here Saturday. So I didn't go to work on Saturday. Stayed home all day waiting for FedEx man to knock on my door. I didn't have anybody knock on my door. And then I looked at my tracking information and it says the shipment's been delayed. So I called up and talked to a Russian dude. I don't know what his name was, but he kind of got the little river running again and got a notification that says, hey, we're going to be there on Monday. I said, all right. Computer's going to arrive Monday. Then halfway through Monday, I got a notification saying, no, it's not going to be out there on Monday. It'll be there on Tuesday. So I said, okay, it'll be here on Tuesday. Got another notification that says, no, we were kidding about Tuesday. It'll be there Wednesday. So I'm at work. I work from like 5 in the morning and I usually get home around 7 o'clock at night. So around 1 o'clock in the morning or 1 o'clock in the afternoon, my doorbell alarm goes off. Of course, someone's there. It's the FedEx guy. And of course, a box this value, it says adult signature required. Well, I'd live by myself. There's no one home, and I'm not going to take a day off of work just to pick up a package or to accept a package. So I let that go by. I tried to redo the delivery so it would go to a FedEx store, and I would just go to the FedEx store and pick it up whenever I could. And I was told by FedEx, I tried to do it online, and it just wasn't working out. So the next day, which was yesterday, I went to the FedEx store and said, hey, I want to change this so it gets delivered here. So they did all the phone calls and stuff. And they told me, hey, this can't be done. It can't be rerouted. The only way it can be rerouted is if you call the manufacturer of this computer and have them change their shipping information, which would have cost them money. And I didn't bother to ask. I didn't think that they would be down for that. So today was strike 3. After strike 3, that it gets, and I didn't get a clear answer to this, it either gets sent back to the original shipper or it gets filed away in a FedEx warehouse somewhere. And I don't know where their FedEx warehouse is here. So rather than take that chance, I took I've been in school all week. So I'm going in for soldering certification. It's kind of a big deal. So today was the final day. The instructor yesterday says, it'll be 4 hours and then 4 hours and then probably an hour for the exam. And then we're done. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll leave at like noon. And in the middle of my test, my doorbell alarm goes off on my phone, and it's the FedEx dude. I'm like, oh crap, this is like the last day. I need to talk to this guy. So I opened it up, and I'm talking to the guy through my doorbell. I'm like, hey man, can you come back like in a couple of hours, please? Because I'd missed him. This is the third day, and he was gonna go into La La Land after today. And the guy's like, he goes, all right, man, I'll be back at 12. So I was like, all right, cool. So here I'm taking my test, and I took my test. I got a 90 on it, so that's cool. But then we have a practical application afterwards. So you take the test, and then it's soldering. So I'm an inspector, so you have to inspect all these boards. You have to write down all these deficiencies for the different classes of soldering. I couldn't concentrate, and I'm looking at the clock, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's 11 o'clock. I got to be home by 12, and I couldn't concentrate at all. I've never been this flustered in a very, very long time. So at about 20 minutes after 11, I closed my book, and I hadn't done any of the evaluations yet. I hadn't started. I'd done half of it, but the part where I actually inspect the boards was next. And so I'm talking to the instructor. I'm like, hey man, I really have to go, and I can't be late. And I said, is there any way? I was prepared to get up and walk out of that class and not receive my certification for level 5. That's how important this is. And he says, hey, that's no problem, man. Just give me a call Monday, and we'll schedule a time whenever I'm available and you're available at the same time. I'm like, dude, this is awesome. So I went, I put in all my labor and stuff. I told my boss where I was going, and I drove home, and I was impatient. Normally I'm just a chill driver. I was setting the pace, dude. So I'm usually just I'll get there when I get there, but the UPS guy or the FedEx guy is like, I'm going to be there at 12. So I'm hauling ass home. I'm hungry. I hadn't eaten breakfast, and it was lunchtime, and I hadn't eaten lunch. So I pulled into my garage. I put down my bags and stuff. And I was hungry, so I reached into the freezer and I got one of those not white, is it white? Yeah, the little White Castle sliders.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I got to get something in my belly, man. And I threw it in the microwave for 1 minute. I went to the bathroom, and then I hear a truck outside, and sure enough, dude, it's the FedEx guy. So he said he's going to be there at 12, and by God, he was there at 12 o'clock. And so I thanked him very much, very, very much for coming back and hooking me up. But yeah, I took that computer out of the box, man. That thing's it's a beast, man. I'm going to have fun. I'm going to have fun using it, and it's just for station. It's just for station stuff. It's just for broadcast stuff. It's just for broadcast stuff for now. I've got my studio stuff set up in my bedroom right now, and I'm going to get I need to get the other room finished before I set that up, and that's not going to happen until probably after Thanksgiving.
With all them graphics, you're just going to use it for a studio box?
No, I think there might be other things going on with that. I think I might start to maybe game a little bit, but I don't know. I'm not a gamer, but I'm thinking music stuff. I've got a lot of MIDI controllers that I'd like to play with, and this is the kind of, everything is USB 3.0, so it's like I don't think I'll have any latency issues. Sexy. So yeah, man, I'm glad that it's got really good graphics. It's got an i9 processor. It's like I'm not going to have to upgrade this computer for years. The computer that I'm using right now, I bought this computer 5 or 6 years ago, whenever the station started and I started broadcasting. So at least 5 years ago. The laptop that I'm doing our phones with, I got that right after I got back from Iraq in 2010. So I think I deserve a brand new, no one's ever used it, computer. My hairline is a war crime. You know, dude, I'm not going to disagree with you. Pooky doesn't have a hairline.
You talk about hairline. I don't have one anymore.
So anyway, Veterans Day is coming up. So that's going to happen. That's going to happen this Thursday. Free stuff. Everyone thinks, oh, it's just, Applebee's and stuff like that. But I've got a list, and it's a pretty good list. But if you go to Koz-WTF Nation Radio at like 8:45, I've got a post that's going to post, and it's got like a super comprehensive nationwide list of free stuff and things, and it's pretty damn cool. So the first one I've got Applebee's offering a full-size entree from a special menu to active duty and other veterans. Arizona Charlie's Casinos, never been there. It's a Vegas thing. 20% discount on all food and beverage orders. And the casinos will also offer draft beers for $2 for active duty and retired military with military ID. See, Bob Evans. Boy, have you had a Bob Evans breakfast, dude? Their biscuits and gravy is awesome.
Yes. It's been forever since I've actually been to a Bob Evans, but yeah, the last time I was there, their breakfast was fire.
Another good one, another good breakfast place, Shoney's. I haven't eaten at a Shoney's since I was at Kirtland Air Force Base.
I ain't seen a Shoney's in forever.
That's a breakfast buffet, and that's so delicious. That's a really good one. They have stuff. Buffalo Wild Wings offering free order of boneless wings and fries for active duty and veterans. Valid for dine-in and takeout. California Pizza Kitchen. There's another good restaurant. They make some really good pizzas there. Free meal and beverage for active duty and other veterans at all participating locations nationwide. Of course, all these are, ID required. Denny's, build your own Grand Slam, a free build your own Grand Slam. So that's a good deal. Freddy's frozen custard and steak burgers. It's crazy, all these places that I've eaten at. I'm like, oh, I've eaten there. Golden Corral, like you mentioned, offering a free thank you meal from 5 p.m. to close November 11th for active duty and other veterans. Dine in only. Over the last 20 years, Golden Corral has served more than 6 million free meals to veterans. That's cool.
It's like one of the biggest during Veterans Day places that, if you get a chance to go, but the line's insane.
There's a lot of choices out there. IHOP, offering free red, white, and blueberry pancakes for active duty and other veterans from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So that's all day long. You got all day to do that. Kolache Factory, offering a free kolache breakfast and a cup of coffee to active duty and other veterans. Little Caesars, I had no idea Little Caesars did this, offering a free hot and ready lunch combo at participating stores nationwide to active duty and other veterans from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Very short window.
Ooh, I got to get my hands on that.
Yeah.
I got a Little Caesars right down the road. So you said, 11 to what? No?
11 to 2.
Got to get my hands on that. Huh?
Ooh, and a 20-ounce Pepsi product.
Legit.
Red Lobster offering free appetizer or dessert from a special menu to active duty and other veterans. Shoney's, like I mentioned, offering a free all-you-can-eat. But I haven't seen a Shoney's since I was in Kirtland Air Force Base, and this is
look that up now because I don't even know.
Texas Roadhouse restaurants will distribute meal vouchers in the parking lot between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. The vouchers are valid through May 30th, so that's cool. Go get a voucher, and then you can go at some other time. White Castle offering free combo meals, number 1 through number 6, or breakfast combos to active duty and other veterans. Now, it's not just food. There's a bunch of food places, a bunch of restaurants on this list. I bet you I haven't even touched any of it. Vail, like the Vail, Colorado, is offering discounted Epic Military Pass for 21-22 season for active and retired military and their dependents. It's $157. For veterans and their dependents, it's $467. Each pass includes holiday access and 6 discount tickets, includes access to all 37 of their owned and operated resorts. That's awesome. And VetTix, we've had VetTix on the air before. If you haven't heard of VetTix, they offered. I mean, and this is year round. This isn't just Veterans Day. Year round, you just sign up, prove your eligibility, and you can get discounted, steeply discounted, or even sometimes free tickets. And these are to major sporting events, concerts, the operas or theater productions. The only thing that they do charge is it's a really light fee. It's like a processing fee, a couple bucks. So VetTix offers tickets year-round to all military and veterans, including immediate family members of troops killed in action. VetTix secures tickets to sporting events, concerts, performing arts, educational, and family activities across the nations. Tickets are free with a small delivery fee. So don't forget, if you go to Koz WTF Nation Radio on Facebook tonight, around the end of the show, I'll post a link to a comprehensive list of things and stuff that are either free or discounted for veterans. Thank you all for your service. We had a COOF question. Did you catch that at all?
I've been trying to keep up with the chat, but I lost track of it because I started looking for Shoney's. There's one right down the road from my house.
Is there really? I'm jealous, man. I'm jealous. That is some of the best. And the thing is, I would go there and I'd get a bunch of bacon. I'd load up on scrambled eggs. I'll get a couple of biscuits, and then I'll cover everything in gravy, and that would be my breakfast. I stayed at the Sheraton in Albuquerque. And there was a Shoney's right across the street. And I ate breakfast. I was there for a month. It was a job that I was doing. I was there for a month, and I had a free breakfast at the hotel, and I went and I paid for my breakfast at Shoney's. That's how much I like Shoney's, man.
Maybe it wasn't called like something like Big Boy or something like that, and then they switched to Shoney's.
I have no idea. I've eaten at a Big Boy. Hey, Elizabeth says, hey.
I'm reading the chats and.
We're going to talk about the COOF mandate in the military in just a little bit in the first hour. So just hang on.
I'm just trying to get through with it. Some people are throwing some heinousness around. Please be decent human beings. That's all I got to say.
Okay.
Have civilized conversations.
Yeah, we're all civilized human beings here. Most of us are civilized human beings here. I mean, look at Branko. Look how far Branko has come. He used to be like all caps Branko, and now he's just. I was about to say. Now he has he types and he alters his texts and stuff, and he has intelligent conversations, and it's awesome.
Learned how to turn off his cap locks key finally.
Might have been stuck. Earl's Cleaners, and it says the most in dry cleaning. All right. The most, the most, I mean, I don't know. I guess you have to come up with the phrase. So you Google the phrase, and that's what it was. The most. We are the most in dry cleaning. Maybe they give that extra, they go that extra step, and it's just extra awesome. And maybe there's a cool note in your shirt or something, or your blouse when you get it. When you get it back, it says, have a great day. It's like a fortune cookie, but it's a shirt.
There's an Italian place around here that claims they have the best steak in the universe, which I highly doubt. But
Oh, Musa Al-Zwani's back. So let's talk about, remember we talked about a little bit ago, several weeks ago, about the submarine that kind of ran into something in the South China Sea.
Hit something underwater, yeah.
Well, there's been a determination as to what exactly that was, or is. Probably still is. Seawolf class nuclear powered attack submarine, the USS Connecticut, collided with an unidentified object on October 2nd. Investigators have determined the submarine ran aground on an undersea mountain, the location of which was previously unknown. So it was uncharted. Uncharted.
Yes, I was about to say.
The 7th Fleet confirmed the report with its spokesman, Commander Haley Sims, saying the investigation determined USS Connecticut grounded on an uncharted seamount while operating in international waters in the India-Pacific region. The earlier Navy statement said that the incident that left the incident much to the imagination, said that the submarine struck something while operating in international waters, and there were no life-threatening injuries. And the submarine was in stable condition, and the nuclear propulsion system was not damaged. The service did not say where the incident occurred, though Navy officials speaking, and I love this, speaking on the condition of anonymity, because you're not supposed to say anything. Your PAO is supposed to release all this information. Told reporters that it happened in the South China Sea after the release of the statement. After the Navy became public, or the news became public, they made the statement that it was in the South China Sea. China, often at odds with the United States in that region, has capitalized and started spitting information provided by the Navy about the incident. The Chinese officials are saying, or they're accusing the United States of a cover-up, calling it cagey and irresponsible. U.S. military denied it and denied that it was trying to cover up the incident after a Chinese military spokesperson made the first allegations. Pentagon Press Secretary John Kirby said, quote, "It's an odd way of covering something up when you make a press release about it." So that was kind of a pretty kick-ass comeback on that one. China just talks a bunch of shit. So how about this? You want to see the damage?
Let's see it.
Look at that. I don't think State Farm's going to, well, maybe State Farm would cover that.
I'm surprised no one died. That's amazing.
There were people that were hurt pretty bad. You know what? I don't know what's in that part of the sub. Is that the torpedo room? I don't know.
I don't know much about submarines. Never been on one, so you would be able to.
I have the USS Cobia in Manitowoc, Wisconsin. It's like a World War II sub.
Been a leg my whole life. You know, I ride around in Humvees, and carry shit on my back.
You get tossed around in the back of 5 tons and deuce and a halves and stuff. It looks like Draco Reznov has done funeral detail, yeah. He says, I don't know if you've seen the text I last put up, but I've been taking care of dead brothers, and I don't know if people know how we actually do it, but every funeral I do takes a piece of me. Dude, I get it. That's all you do is you bury brothers and sisters. That's the
funeral detail sucks.
You know, the guy that put in my air conditioner was in the Navy. I think I told this story, but he was in the Navy for a number of years. He never served on a boat. He graduated from school, and he went immediately to Washington D.C. and he was on funeral detail. And then he was at Arlington. And then he did go to Iraq for a year or so.
To be permanently stuck on funeral detail, that's insane. I mean, that's rough.
Yeah, he said his whole first enlistment was either at Washington D.C. or at Arlington.
To do like Quantico, National Cemetery and stuff, is where we used to do our funeral details at, but I never did one in Arlington.
It'd be such an honor to be able to do that, but I understand how just emotionally taxing that would just be, day after day. Maybe not every day, but yeah. Hopefully they got you've got some a good inner circle that you can talk this stuff out with your buds. About a year and a half. He says he's been doing it about a year and a half. Yeah, that's
rough.
That's a long time, man.
I used to do the bugle, but it wasn't I didn't know how to play the bugle. There's like a little speaker that gets plugged up into.
Oh, and you just
I just act like I'm playing the bugle.
Oh, that kind of sucks. I mean, I know that there is a shortage of bugle players. They do have bugle players, but then more often than not, they don't.
I wanted to learn, but I can't get my lips the right way in the thing. So it's
You got all that hair on your face too. That kind of gets in the way.
well, I mean, you got to think I was clean shaven. So I didn't have a bit of hair on me at all at that point. Huh?
So you know what DVids is?
D-bid.
DVids. Delta Victor.
Vids?
D Delta. Vids as in videos.
Okay, no, I have no idea what that is.
Well, you're gonna. So the Pentagon has quietly removed a massive collection of Afghanistan war footage, totaling more than 120,000 photos and 17,000 videos from its official video record. The images and videos, which date back more than a decade, were previously published to the Defense Virtual Information Distribution Service, or DVIDS. It's a vast repository of public domain material that's available for use by the public and the press. Defense Department began archiving the imagery in August and September as it was working to get Afghans out of the country, said John Kirby, the press secretary. Who noted that the United States government continues to try to help Afghans who need to leave. Kirby said on Monday that he made the decision to temporarily archive any images and videos that could put Afghans in danger. He says, quote, "My guidance was, I want any imagery that could be used to identify individuals and or family members over the last 20 years of war. I want it to be unpublished for a temporary period of time. And this is temporary. It is done out of an abundance of caution. All told, roughly 120,000 photographs and about 17,000 videos have been unpublished." He did not specifically say when the imagery would be reposted, and none of those images or videos were classified. He says, quote, "I just want to make it clear that we did not delete. We just took off we took it off of publicly accessible platforms and archived it for future republication at a later date."
Wonder if this has anything to do with that recent fiasco in Afghanistan with the drone strike.
The bad one?
The one where we got some bad guys and wound up not getting bad guys.
Yeah, it was like completely everybody was cool. See, Musa Alzwani says, do we still have people there that want to get out?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think absolutely yes. I don't know if they're citizens. I think that they're allies or friends of the United States. Yeah, I don't know much. I don't know much about it, man. I can't. I don't want to start spouting off stuff I don't know anything about. I don't know if Musa. I don't know if they're Americans or not. So did you get your coof spray? We have to talk in code because we don't want to get.
Yes.
We don't want to get canceled or muted.
Yes.
Or kicked off.
No, I refuse.
You refused? Okay.
I refuse on principle. This is a simple fact on that.
Why? Because they said you need to get this. You're like, well
yeah,
then I'm not.
Don't tell me what to do. I've been out of the military for almost 10 years now. F you. You're not my daddy.
A lot. I think, for my company, there's a lot of, oh, dude, you're not bothering us at all.
Oh, no. You're not bothering us. We like people engaging with us.
So as far as the Akoof spray, you could probably figure out what we're talking about. I think we have a lot of, like 500 people that are putting in for exemptions, either medical or religious. we had a meeting. It was a town hall meeting. Our VP of HR came down, and they were there with a bunch of other of the executive level management, and they were like, "This is the way that things are going to be," and they just said, "And this, for you not to act, if you don't get your coof spray, then you're going to be shown the door." There's been steps toward getting a medical and religious exemptions. They had a crew there that were like, okay, put in for a religious exemption and use these words and use your own religious words, your own, use your own words, but use it in this format. They were basically telling everybody how to fill out religious exemption paperwork. As far as the medical, I mean, who wants to lose employees?
No one does. That's why I don't agree with mandates. But some people can argue with me all day and call me ignorant and whatever. But that's just my formal opinion. Look at like Southwest and American Airlines. Right around the first, they started having issues. So I'm just saying.
Musa Al-Zwani says they use stem cells from aborted fetuses to develop vaccines. Yes, and it's not just this one. It's like all of them, most of them. That is not disinformation. That is absolute truth. But nearly 8,500 active duty members of the Air Force and Space Force have missed the deadline for getting the coof spray, including 800 who flatly refused, and nearly 5,000 with pending requests for religious exemptions, announced the Air Force. The Air Force said that of the 326,000 active duty members in the Air Force and Space Force, 95.9% are fully coofed, and 96.9% have gotten at least one coof spray application. Anna Stefanik, an Air Force spokesman, said a coofed force is a protected force, better able to deploy and defend our interests anywhere at any time. Receiving the coof spray is a necessary requirement to keep our people safe and healthy. This is a readiness issue. Tuesday was the Air Force's deadline for all active duty members to receive the coof spray. The Air Force deadline was the first of all the military services, providing an initial glimpse into how America's military will handle the mandate. The Air Force says 8,486 service members have not been coofed as of Tuesday. Of that total, 800 had verbally refused, and 2,753 had not started the coof processes for reasons not cited. And 4,933 have pending requests for an exemption on religious grounds. The Air Force said that by December 2nd, it would complete its review of requests for medical exemptions and religious exemptions. Thus, listen to this. This is important, and this is kind of shocking, and it kind of pisses me off because I don't care how you worship. I don't care if you don't worship. This is all you. It's all on you. The Air Force said, 1,866 requests for medical or administrative exemptions have been approved. It said that 0 requests for religious exemptions have been approved. They have approved exactly 0 religious exemptions. This sets thousands of disciplinary actions in motion and sets the stage for exemption procedures that could drag on for weeks. The coof spray deadline for the Air Guard and the reserves is December 2nd. So what happened to the First Amendment? Musa Al-Zwani says. I'm not supporting, and I'm not talking shit about it, but this is kind of
that ability while you're in the military. I just hate to say that.
Yeah, you don't have a lot of wiggle room when you're in the military because you're kind of property of Uncle Sam, and Uncle Sam right now.
UCMJ takes precedence over everything pretty much at that point.
And I will obey all the orders from the president. So it's a mandate. So of all of the people in the United States that really don't have much wiggle room, I would say it's the military. Next down the list, I would say would be companies that do Department of Defense contracts like the one I'm with. If you want to do business with the government, you're going to have a fully coofed workforce. And my company would have a very hard time surviving if they didn't do business with the military. So that kind of is that.
Watching CBS News, Evening News or whatever it is, a couple of nights ago, and they were talking about New York having issues with people refusing the coof spray, pretty much, like a police and firemen and stuff like that.
Police and firemen, that's happening in Chicago too. Actually, the police department has a reprieve on the mandate, and I think President Biden pushed it out a month. It's like January 4th instead of December 8th.
So my thing is on it right now is, if people have made their mind up on it, they're going to stand their ground at this point.
Yeah.
So pushing the dates back is just kind of, kicking the can down the road at that point.
We have a lot of folks at work that are like, I'm not getting it. You can't make me get it. I'll quit. And then I'm like, dude, you're like 60 years old. How long have you worked here? I've been here 37 years. I'm like, you got nothing to lose. You're just going to retire. What about these young bucks? I got one guy in my shop, engineer. He's 34 years old, and he's refusing the vaccine because of what Musa Al-Swani was talking about, as far as the he's doing a religious exemption, not because he's particularly religious. He's just like, I don't want to because I don't want to, but I've got to find a reason. So rather than go medical, he went religious, and he invoked the development with aborted fetuses. It's not like you've got small chunks of babies in there, but all the preliminary development is done with that as a tool. And it sucks because these people are having to choose between getting coofed.
Coercion.
This is definitely coercion. Yeah, if you ever wanted a real time explanation or a demonstration of what coercion is, that's what this is. But
of course, at the beginning of all this, no, we're not going to mandate anything, and now we're mandating.
It seems like everything that was said under the last administration has just been tossed into the wind. They got rid of everything that President Trump said, and they're just doing it their way. So,
well,
elections, I say this a lot, elections have consequences.
No, elections have consequences, but you can see what has happened in like Virginia, New Jersey. I don't know if you saw the story about that truck driver in New Jersey who upended one of the highest seating state senate with a $5,000. I think it was less than $5,000 campaign. Filled his campaign video on his iPhone.
Yep, he did it all on his iPhone. I think his initial cost for his campaign was like $153. He spent a total of $5,000. No, his opponent spent $5,000. This guy spent $153. If I understand that correctly.
I don't know. All I know is that Senate seat had been held for like 12 some years or something like that.
By a high ranking Democrat too. But that's the same way that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez got elected. She was going up against someone who has been there for decades probably, and just kind of took it for granted that they're going to get reelected. And Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez went out there and knocked on doors and shook people's hands and got to talk to people and stuff. And she made inroads with everybody, and she won.
How you do it?
That's how you do it.
How you do it?
All right, Second Amendment. I said we're going to talk about Second Amendment, so.
Oh, okay. Shout out being fringe. End of story.
So a majority of Supreme Court justices indicated Wednesday that they believe Americans generally have a right to carry a handgun outside the home for self-defense. and that a New York law requiring special justification for getting such a permit is too restrictive. The court's 6 conservative justices expressed varying levels of support for the two individuals and the National Rifle Association affiliate challenging New York's requirement, enacted more than a century ago, that says that those who want to carry concealed weapons for self-defense must show a special need for self-protection distinguishable from that of the general community. Chief Justice John Roberts said New York's law seems at odds with a constitutional right. He says, quote, "The idea that you need a license to exercise the right, I think is unusual in the context of the Bill of Rights." Justice Brett Kavanaugh was more direct. He says, "Why isn't it good enough to say I live in a violent area and I want to be able to defend myself?" Damn good basic questions, man. The Supreme Court in 2008 ruled for the first time that the Second Amendment bestowed an individual the right to keep a gun in the home for personal defense rather than related to military service. Justice Antonin Scalia decision in District of Columbia versus Heller struck down a law that severely restricted gun ownership, but answered only part of what it means to keep and bear arms. But it's not until now that the court has taken up the question of what it means to bear arms. A ruling against New York would have consequences for at least half a dozen states with similar laws.
It's not that hard to read the Second Amendment and understand it.
What's a favorite saying? Shall not be infringed.
Shall not be infringed. Simple. That's it. It makes sense. It was written that way, so an idiot like me can read it and understand it.
And I'd just like to point out that is a beautiful handgun.
I was about to say that 1911 is sexy.
That's a sexy ass handgun right there.
Mm-hmm. It's Colt too, I think. Oh yeah, it's Colt. Yeah.
Love that.
I get my hands on something that beautiful.
So before we take a break, let's talk about our electrical grid. And I read this story a couple of days ago, and it's starting actually to make more light. I saw this morning Boone Cutler posted a link to the story, so this is going to get a lot of attention. A new warning has been issued. Let me get the right little graphic there. A new warning has been issued regarding a potential attack on the electrical grid in the Northeast United States. A newly released intelligence bulletin reveals a plot involving the use of a drone to disrupt the electrical grid in Pennsylvania that happened in July of 2020, last year. The drone crashed on top of a building near Pennsylvania's power substation last year. It was likely intended to disrupt operations by creating a short circuit to damage transformers, according to a memo from the FBI. Department of Homeland Security and the National Counterterrorism Center also said the same thing. The drone had thick copper wires attached to it. The memo was based on a review of drone incidents that date all the way back to 2017. A concern is the illicit use of drones over energy infrastructure and other potential targets are growing. Drones are very difficult to detect or even defend against. Officials believe that it's the first time that a drone was used to deliberately damage the U.S. energy structure. The person responsible for flying this drone had removed the camera and the memory card and all markings to hide their identity. Federal officials told news sources that they are distributing the intelligence bulletin now to raise awareness about the incident and the general threat that drones pose to our critical infrastructure.
I foresee a future here where drones for personal use are banned, or you have to have some sort of license to actually operate a drone.
There's already stuff in. I don't know if it's a federal thing, but you have to have a drone over a certain size. You actually have to have.
You have to register at the FAA.
Yes,
I know that.
Yeah.
You can't take a drone over, I think, 1,500 feet or something like that. Some idiots do it. Just like, look at me. Take my drone wherever the fuck I want to take it.
Yeah, until you're into the traffic pattern of a major airport.
And then, TSA is looking for you. You got a couple felonies under your belt.
Yeah, I've never had the coordination. Well, now I guess all the technology has. You can fly it first person. You have a VR headset on, and you can actually see where you're going and do things. It wasn't always like that.
Those racing drones are on point, though. I don't know if you ever watched drone racing.
I get dizzy. I get dizzy watching those.
I'm like, how could you control that? It's the whole world spinning around doing all the crazy. I don't understand it.
So they have this obstacle course, and picture a mall that's empty, and they have a little obstacle course for drones. It's a race course, and these drone pilots, let's call them pilots, are sitting at a table with these VR headsets on, and they're racing. And these things are just flying around, doing their drone thing. It's amazing to watch. It is. I don't know. It's cool. It's very cool. And I grew up with you get a drone. It was just I don't know what it was. It wasn't called a drone. It was just you plug it in and it charges for a couple of minutes and you get like 5 minutes of battery out of it, and it's as big as your hand.
Helicopters.
Yeah. So you lift it up. It lifts up.
I gotta put it on a charger again.
And the thing is, it would lift up, and I'd get it hovering. I'm like, okay, this is cool. So I go into forward flight. Okay, this is cool, but then I have to turn around because I'm going to hit a wall or something. So I turn the aircraft around, and now I've got to do everything in reverse. Because it's just so counterintuitive because it's flying at you, but you've got your controls are the same, but it's just weird because it's flying at you and you got to do these things. So I wasn't very good at it. I've taken out a couple of ceiling fans, dinged up some walls, so I kind of gave up on that hobby. But now I'd like to get back into it. For a couple $100, a few $100, you can get something really nice with a camera on it.
Nice. I've got a couple sitting in the shed, kind of chilling. I've stockpiled them for specific reasons, but
for our societal collapse in the coming years. Put them in a Faraday cage so you can shield them from an EMP or something.
Yeah.
How tightly do we want to put on this tinfoil hat?
Hey, better to have it, not need it, need not have it.
Well, you got a decent point there. Yeah, I might get into the drone game. I'm going to wait till I sell this house. I'm going to get another house or a different house with some land, so I have some room, and that's what I need. I need room. I need room to mess up, so I can have time to recover. How about that? That's my excuse. So we were talking about my computer earlier in the broadcast, and you mentioned something about a truckload of graphics
cards. Yes, GPUs. Yes, they got jacked.
Hijacked.
Let's see. The GPU vendor in Vega said it lost a shipment sought after PC graphics cards in a theft in California. So someone targeted that specific. Yeah?
I think it was an inside job.
It could have been an inside job, or that's how usually them things work out. But the graphic cards value from anywhere between $350 and $2,000 a pop. You do the math on that.
I didn't spend that much. I was going to buy a 3090, but I didn't. I think I got the 3070 or 60.
60, yeah, the 60s that's where it's at, man. That's where it's at.
And it's got two display ports and one HDMI, and that's enough for me. I just need two. I needed a graphics card that would support two monitors. Is all I wanted. But man, someone jacked an entire. I mean, they didn't. Did they assign like a total value of What
They
was taken?
did not. What I'm reading on here, I'm not seeing anything about the actual value. They just say it was a shipment. But the company came out and said, "Hey, stop theft.evega or whatever it is." Kind of like get people under a tip line or a hot tip line or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And but people are getting mad at the company because they want them to post like a list of the serial numbers so that they don't get caught up buying stolen goods, pretty much. And they're just refusing to do it because I think what it is they're afraid to release the amount of cards that were actually lost in that. Huh?
But they've got the serial number, so they're not even going to be able to register these graphics cards.
Yeah. They won't be able to register. You won't, like, if you try to register it or do your warranty or whatever it is, you're not going to get the warranty for it.
So here's a little PSA. If you're out there shopping for a graphics card and you find an NVIDIA graphics card 3090 for a couple of $100 as opposed to almost $2,000, don't buy it.
It's hot.
It's probably hot.
Yeah.
If you got this deal that's like too good to be true, it probably is. And with that, we're going to head into our break, and we're going to be back. And we're going to talk about, and think about this, and give me the answers after we come back. What could be worse than being attacked by bees? Simple question. We're going to talk a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit about Kyle Rittenhouse. He was the guy that has been incarcerated, and he is being charged with murder and stuff and things for defending himself during a protest in Kenosha, Wisconsin. That happened about a year ago. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about all the charges that are levied against him. We're going to talk about rabies. We're going to talk about planes for sale. If anybody's interested in buying a plane, we got some really, really good deals coming here. But you gotta go to Kenya to get it. It's a really good story. So hang out with us. So we're going to take a break, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Shots.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
This is WTF Nation Radio.
All right, everybody, we're back for the second hour of, as Ice put it last night, Kicking It with Koz. Then he corrected himself. This is Friday Night Freedom, everybody, here on WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio is the voice of U.S. Army WTF moments, and we are here for your entertainment. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us, man. This is awesome. This is really awesome. I'm glad to see such a lively conversation in the chats. And I'm trying to respond and talk to folks. I just realized that someone mentioned the USS Cobia. He goes, man, the USS Cobia is in a town that I recruit in. So I said, oh, Manitowoc, Wisconsin. And he's like, yeah, it's a small town. It's a small town in Wisconsin, and that's where I did some of my growing up when I was a kid. So yeah, that's kind of cool. Maybe. Benjamin, Jurish, we can hook up and grab a beer or something. I'm going to be up in that area over the Christmas holiday. Send me a message at WTF Nation Radio, and maybe we can hook up. We'll go to Bernstein's or something and have an ice cream sundae or something like that, or go to Late's and have a nice greasy ass cheeseburger with some cheese curds.
Cheese curds.
Cheese curds are awesome. I can't wait. I'm looking. You know what? I'm going to see my family, and this is a town that I did most of my core growing up in. Elementary school, first through 8th grade. I graduated 8th grade, went into high school. We didn't have middle schools back then. Went to Roncalli High School, and then Dad got transferred, so we went to Chicago. So I really enjoyed Wisconsin. I mean, we lived, you're right there by the lake and two rivers and stuff. So it was awesome. Late's has the best cheese curds on the planet. No shit, dude. They were there. And how about, hey, is Bessie still there? Is that big ass cow still right next to Late's? Dude, I'm going to take pictures next to this thing. You can walk under this cow. And people go there and they the cow's teats are like hanging down. And they just take these pictures there. It's a Borden milk factory. It's funny, man. It's great. It's just a lot of fun. It's a cool town. It really is a cool town. So the question I posed right before we went to break was, what could be worse than being attacked by bees? Bees. So let's see. Was it Baconator? Said that he was being attacked by bees, and then he kind of ran into a rose bush, and it scarred him up pretty bad. Basically, I had to get half of his clothes cut off and a bunch of small stitches everywhere. Not as bad when I shredded myself on a barbed wire fence riding a Harley. Yeah, that sucks.
Rough.
That would suck.
That's pretty rough.
Killer bees. Yep. Check this out. This happened in Brazil. This isn't the United States. Do I have a graphic for this? Oh, yeah, I do. 7, number 8. Ocho. A man has reportedly died in Brazil after jumping into a lake to escape bees, only to drown and be eaten by piranhas. A 30-year-old was fishing with his friends when they were attacked by a swarm of bees. One of the men decided to jump into the farm lake in which they were fishing. The man's friends attempted to rescue him, but they were unsuccessful. The man's body was recovered by firefighters several feet from the shore. One of the firefighters who performed the rescue said that the carnivorous fish had disfigured the man's face and body quite horribly. So yeah, I guess that would be worse than being attacked by bees.
That's pretty savage way to die.
Like a Final Destination type thing, though. You're going to die by bees. Oh, what's up, Bailey? Happy Friday to you. That was like super unlucky dice that guy rolled. You're either going to get jacked up with bees or I mean, I don't know if he knew that there were piranhas in the in the little pond there.
I don't know if that's worse. The piranhas are worse than pacu. I don't know if it's true or not.
I don't know.
Pacu are pretty bad. Some of those areas down there in South America.
Are they carnivorous fish?
They're actually, I eat anything they get their teeth. Those ones that got they look like human teeth.
Dude, I thought those were photoshopped.
No, pacu are legit, man. They're a relative of the piranha, but they're from Africa, I think. And somehow they got imported into the South American water streams down there, and they call them the ball biters for a reason, because dudes will go swimming and get pretty much castrated and bleed out. Yeah.
Oh. Everyone says, you go to Australia and everything wants to kill you. You go to South America, you go into the Amazon, there's stuff in there that can save your life. There's stuff in there that can kill you too, and you just really don't know. Big ass spiders, anacondas,
giant centipedes,
huge ass centipedes. So Kyle Rittenhouse in the news because his trial started this week. If anybody doesn't know Kyle Rittenhouse, I'll have a little background information. Opening statements were held on Tuesday this week in a trial of Kyle Rittenhouse, who shot 3 men, killing 2 of them and wounding the third during the protest/riot in Kenosha, Wisconsin last year. Rittenhouse has argued that he fired in self-defense after the men attacked him. And here's a look at what the charges are. The felony charge is connected to the death of Joseph Rosenbaum, the first man Rittenhouse shot. Bystander video shows Rosenbaum chasing Rittenhouse through the parking lot and throwing a plastic bag over him. Rittenhouse flees behind a car and Rosenbaum follows. Richard McGinnis, a reporter who was trailing Rittenhouse, told investigators that Rosenbaum tried to grab Rittenhouse's gun, according to the criminal complaint. There has been a whole bunch in this trial that's just like all the prosecution witnesses are like saying things that are totally exonerating Kyle Rittenhouse.
Oh, yeah. It's this, in my opinion, this is what you call modern day witch hunt, pretty much. Point. Kind of like the whole January 6th shit that's going on. They're arresting old ladies that were just confused walking around up the Capitol and crap.
They have a Dallas hairdresser here that was arrested. She was just there. She wasn't doing anything. She was just there.
Well, guilty by association, I guess. I
Pretty
mean,
much.
it's the media spun it the way they wanted to speak. I don't want to get into it. I don't want to get into that. But this Kyle Rittenhouse thing, it is in my eyes a witch hunt. They're trying to demonize the kid. I mean, you look at the rap sheets on the 2 dudes he wound up stacking. One was a pedophile. I believe the other one was a domestic. He had domestic abuse charges and crap. One of them wasn't even supposed to be carrying a pistol because he had a felony at that point.
Goodness.
So it's insanity. It's just kid with gun defends himself. Oh, he has an AR-15. Let's demonize him. That's my personal opinion on it, but that's the way it looks.
It's a scary gun, and those guns misbehave. If you leave them unattended, they just go out and kill everybody by themselves,
doing whatever they want to. And I the whole thing cracked me up just because people argue, well, he crossed the border and that's illegal. He's not allowed to cross the border. I was like, you're the same one saying that we should have open borders anyways. It's just like, I don't understand this.
What exactly is coming across our southern border?
Like, oh, we don't need borders. Borders are made up. And then they'll use the border on this to demonize us. I think he's 18 now, but he was 17 when it happened.
He is. So here's the charges against Mr. Rittenhouse. First degree recklessly endangering safety and use of a dangerous weapon. And that separation of terms means things. The felony charge is also connected to the Rosenbaum shooting. McGinnis told investigators that he was in the line of fire when Rittenhouse shot Rosenbaum. The charge is punishable by 12 and a half years in prison. The weapons modifier, that was the comma use of a dangerous weapon. So the weapons modifier carries another 5 years tacked onto that. Another charge, first-degree intentional homicide, comma, use of a dangerous weapon. This charge is connected to Anthony Huber's death. Video shows Rittenhouse running down the street after shooting Rosenbaum when he falls to the street. Huber leaps at him and swings a skateboard at his head and tries to grab Rittenhouse's gun before Rittenhouse fires. The criminal complaint alleges that Rittenhouse aimed the weapon at Huber. Intentional homicide means just that. A person killed someone and he meant to do it. Butcher said that there's a call coming in, and I can get to it in just a minute. Butcher said that Rittenhouse pointed the gun at Rosenbaum and pulled the trigger, and that would amount to intentional homicide. However, self-defense would trump that charge. Why they intended to kill this individual makes the difference. And how they say again?
No, it's just like it's just this right here pisses me off because the media will only show certain parts of the video, and if you've seen the whole video, that crowd was harassing that kid the whole way until everything popped off.
You know, I said last night on his show on Sergeant's Time that there's actual FBI video. FBI had a drone in the sky, and they were taking video, and there's video of all of this. The count carries a mandatory life sentence. The weapons modifier, which is what the comma means, would add up to 5 years to the life sentence. The next charge, attempted first-degree intentional homicide. Attempted first-degree intentional homicide, comma, use of a dangerous weapon. This is the charge for Rittenhouse shooting Gage Grosskreutz, shooting him in the arm.
Someone that had the pistol in his hand.
Okay. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Shooting him in the arm seconds after he shot Huber. And as Grosskreutz came toward him holding a pistol, Grosskreutz survived. Video shows Rittenhouse pointing his gun at him and firing a single round. You know what the thing is? An AR type. It's a semi-automatic rifle. So if he wanted to shoot him a lot more, he could have shot him a lot more. He was clearly defending himself. This charge carries a minimum sentence of 60 years, and the weapons modifier, which is what the comma was, adds up 5 more years to that. Next charge, first degree recklessly endangering safety, comma, use of a dangerous weapon. Video shows an unknown man leaping at Rittenhouse and trying to kick him seconds before Huber moves his skateboards towards him. Rittenhouse appears to fire 2 rounds at the man and apparently misses as the man runs away. Lucky dude. This charge is a felony punishable by 12 and a half years in prison. The weapons modifier, again, would add up to 5 more years to that. Possession of a dangerous weapon by a person under 18. Rittenhouse was armed with an AR-style semi-automatic rifle. He was 17 years old on the night of the shooting. Wisconsin law prohibits minors from possessing firearms except for hunting. The charge is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 9 months behind bars. Next charge, failure to comply with an emergency order from state or local government. Kenosha officials imposed an 8 p.m. curfew the night of the shooting. Rittenhouse was still on the streets as midnight approached.
Wait, what?
What? I'm just reading here. The offense is... Go ahead.
No, so they're going to hit him with a curfew charge, but everyone else on that street was breaking that same law at that point, huh?
Well, the offense is punishable by up to a $200 fine in forfeitures. So here's my prediction. Rittenhouse is guilty. of possession and failure to comply with an emergency order. The sentence is a $200 fine and time served.
Yep.
Let the riots begin.
Oh, no, of course. This is the thing that freaks me out about it, too, is because, I hate mob mentality. I freaking hate it more than anything.
Well, there's psychological. It's that hive mind type thing. You know, shit starts going south, and it's like some of these riots, like in St. Louis. You know, once one dude starts busting windows, then another dude starts busting windows, and then it's just everyone is just fucking stuff up.
Mostly peaceful protests.
Mostly peaceful protests.
Fiery, but mostly peaceful.
Musa Alzwani says if they charge him with curfew, then they need to charge the entire mob. Non-player characters. Charge all the non-player characters.
I totally agree with that. If anyone that comes to testify that they were on the streets, they get charged with the $200 fine just as well. You were out breaking curfew. These people better start pleading the fifth on some of these.
You just confessed to a crime.
Yeah, you better start asking for immunity here. Pleading the fifth because you're going to incriminate yourself in court.
Pleading the fifth. I plead the fifth.
The fifth.
Oh, I have no idea how this is going to turn out. It's just from the news articles I'm reading, it's just the prosecution has no case. And it's just even their own witnesses are sinking the ship. I couldn't even imagine being a prosecuting attorney on this trial, just going, dude, all the evidence points towards self-defense, but here are the other tools that they're giving me to work with, and it's just not working out.
I knew the case was kind of a failure at the beginning. Anyone could sit there, anyone with enough common sense that hasn't been, brainwashed and, getting their updates from, NBC or whatever it is, but you watch that whole video, and if you can't come to the conclusion that there was some self-defense there, one man versus 1,000 at this point. If you really wanted to do some damage, you could have went and did some damage.
Right. Hey, I've got a call, and this is going to kick you off.
All right, do it.
All right. Hey, WTF Nation Radio, this is Koz. What's going on? Apparently I was a microsecond too late. Area code 563, call back. So you can, Luke Monin says that you can get killed in Florida for rioting even if you don't have an actual weapon with the new riot law. Oh my gosh.
Oh, that Florida riot law is no joke.
Is it really?
Actually, it's, yeah.
Is it stupid or is it just
It's a little intense in my eyes. Like, because you write a law thinking, oh, this is going to help, but it can down the road can be used in a nefarious way against the people. That's the way I look at things. That's the libertarian coming out of me. But no, it's like any groups of three or more causing any kind of chaos or whatever it is, or can be considered as a riot or held with felony charges.
Really? That's pretty that's pretty intense. That's pretty intense. I don't have a problem with people organizing and protesting something. My personal view on that is it really doesn't do any good. It might make you feel better, but it really, at the end of the day, it really doesn't do any good. But to make a law, the right for peaceable assembly is in the Constitution, or it's in the Bill of Rights.
Yes.
So there's a fine line. Peaceable assembly is one thing, but when you start throwing bricks and lighting shit on fire, then the police need to be involved. But then all these other communities, look at Seattle, dude. Look at Seattle and Portland.
Those mayors were letting it happen.
Austin, Texas. We just had an election, and Austin, Texas voted to defund the police.
Austin has slowly turned into a shithole. I just hate to say it. But I can blame people moving from a state because of taxes and insanity over in that specific state. I'm going to name states, but you can probably figure it out on your own. But they left because of such shitty policies, and they move to another state, and they bring their policies and views with them, and they're just creating it's a perpetual but downward spiral at that point. Huh?
They're bringing the bad politics with them. You know, oh, this is going to be different. This is going to be different. We're just saying we're not going to do it like the last time. It's
like communism. It didn't work the first time. Let's try it again. It'll work eventually.
No, it's never worked ever. Ever.
I see that someone commented about white privilege at work here. I don't know what they were talking about.
I don't know.
El Sandito. Okay. Yeah. I've yet to see my card, so
I haven't got my card yet. It's coming though. That's what I hear.
If you can get it for me, please. Please send it because I've been really needing it.
I'm really. I mean, the entire 4 years that President Trump was president was nothing more than chaos in several different cities: Portland, Seattle, Chicago. Just to name,
it to happen.
Baltimore. I mean, just lots of.
They allowed it to happen, though. These mayors allowed it to happen. There's police chiefs that were told to back off and let them do this shit. No? It was all a political game at this point.
Well, when the Baltimore, who was it in Baltimore that says they're just expressing their feelings? Let them get their feelings out, or something like that. I have no idea what the exact quote was. Maybe it was the mayor. I don't want to throw them under the bus, but it's.
I know they were like step back, and as soon as the riots, pretty peaceful protests started making it close to their residence, it became an issue all of a sudden. Well,
and the same thing happened in Seattle. They're like, oh yeah, just let them go. Oh my gosh, they're at my doorstep. Where are the police at? Defund the police until they come to my house, and then no, I need the police here.
Kind of the way, you hear a lot of these gun activists, they talk like, oh, guns are bad, while they're walking around with an entourage of armed men to defend them. It makes no sense to me.
Well, they're not police. They're privately hired security.
And I can't afford a security guard, but I sure as hell can afford a 1911 to carry around in my pocket. Huh?
I would gladly spend the money for a 1911 to protect myself. Especially that one. Where'd that one go? Where's my 1911 at? Where's that guy right there?
That one right there. That one. Yeah. Yes.
That is so pretty. I wonder if there's any rounds been chambered and fired in that guy.
Oh, it's one of those ones that's so pretty that you just can't fire it. Huh?
Yeah. I would probably fire it, but I would. I mean, I'm looking at that grip. I would definitely maybe wear gloves. Just not. I mean. That's one of the pieces that you keep under your desk, and you only fire it when you need to fire it, So this proves states can make gun laws like how states do with drug laws.
He's talking about the Texas now in Texas. It's past September now, so I think the law passed.
Medical?
You can. No, it's suppressor laws. If the suppressor is manufactured in Texas, you don't need NFA stamp for it. So now if you go on Amazon, I'm not telling anyone to do this, but there's these things called engine filters and oil filters that are floating around, and they're measured specifically to diameters and stuff like that. So, and all you got to do is drill a hole in it, and now it's not a filter anymore. It is a suppressor.
Oh, you just modify it so it's a different.
All you got to do is just drill it, because it doesn't have the hole drilled in it. You could legally purchase it. So if you live in Texas,
oh my gosh,
you can manufacture your own suppressors now.
I don't want to get on another watch list. I'm going to be looking this stuff up. As soon as we get off the air, I'm going to.
No, it's amazing. Like my buddy said, hey, go look it up. And I was like going through, I was like, my man, all I got to do is drill a hole. He's like, shh. Watch how loud you're talking right now.
I mean, I'm not going to walk around with an oil filter hanging off the end of my handgun.
No, they're just pretty much the silencer without the hole drilled at the end.
Or a Sprite bottle.
Yeah.
I've never been inclined. I've never been inclined to modify any of my firearms except for like maybe the trigger. You know, to have a lighter trigger pull or whatever.
Or a binary trigger. Ooh. Uh-huh.
So have you ever been in the market for a plane? You ever want to buy a? I know you don't like to fly.
I don't like to fly, but if I can afford a Cessna, I might actually like go learn how to fly. It'd be kind of fun. Even though I'm colorblind, I don't think I could get a license.
There are Cessnas. There are Cessnas on this list for sale. Ice just sent a message. He said, "That's a gorgeous pistol on the screen."
Exactly.
Right? We were just talking about that. It's just so. Would you fire that, Ice? If that was your gun, would you take that to the range? I would.
That's a straight gangster pistol, though. I mean, that's like one of those ones you just roll around in your holster, and just, it's. I don't know. That's just gangster.
That's one of those guns where if that was mine, I would fire it. But if I'm sitting around with the family and we're watching a movie on Saturday night, I'm cleaning that guy. I'm wiping it down. I'm making sure the wood doesn't get splintered. I'm making sure all the shiny parts are shiny again. That is the sexiest 911 I've ever seen in my life.
I've seen some pretty awesome ones, but that doesn't top some of the sexy ones that I've seen. But it is up there. It's a nice looking.
Gary Branscom's like, I'd be afraid to melt the gold or whatever it is. What's your cyclic rate, bro?
Yeah, like, oh, man, you bump fire?
You got a bump fire on his 911.
Your 1911 only got like 8 rounds in the thing. I'm done.
I have seen the guy that's got like a fully automatic. It's a Russian guy. He's got like a fully automatic Glock. It may be a 9mm, but he's got like 100. He's got like 100 round barrel on a Glock, and he's like, grrr, just going to town.
Just destroyed the barrel. Just instantly.
Oh, and it does. It does. We're gonna move on here. In just a few weeks, Kenya. I don't believe this. Kenya Airports Authority (KAA) will be auctioning off a long list of aircraft that have been abandoned at 4 of its airports. The list of aircraft types is very long and diverse, ranging from the Ukrainian AN-24 to the classic 737-200. There's even a 707-300. All of these aircraft have some seriously low starting bid prices.
You know the way?
Do you know the way? I don't believe it. So check this out. Oh gosh. A Boeing 707-300. I couldn't find the Boeing 707-300, but this is a Boeing 707-300. This is not the one that's up for auction, okay? I just want to make that very, very clear. Bidding starts at $2,497. I looked for like commas and decimals and zeros, and no, the actual starting bid for this aircraft is $2,497. This 54-year-old aircraft, it's been around for longer than I've been around. Abandoned at Mombasa after suffering extensive undercarriage damage after contacting landing lights on the runway, has just been sitting there. And it's an auction. It starts off at let's say $2,500. $2,500. It could be yours. Two of these are up for auction. 2 AN-24s previously operated by the Somali Air Force.
I'll take those.
I said Somali Air Force. Those words mean things.
I'll take those.
Despite research efforts, it is unclear why the 2 aircraft have been sitting in Kenya or how they got there. Somalia hasn't had a combat-capable armed force since 1991.
defectors, maybe. I don't know. Somalia doesn't even have an army. I don't even.
No, they
think,
don't.
yeah?
They don't really have an official military.
Government. They don't have a government really. I don't
Right.
think.
Starting bid on these guys, there's two of them, $655.91.
I'm bidding on them. There's just scrap metal and parts. Just ripping it apart. Just part value at that point.
You got to figure this thing's been pretty much ransacked. You have to. I mean, it's got to be.
Yeah, you're right. I go to look into the motor compartment. There's nothing in there.
All the avionics is probably gone. All the stuff
copper wire is ripped out of it.
Yeah.
You just get shell at that point. Huh?
But still, scrap. You're going to make your money back in scrap. But the thing is, you have to go there, disassemble it, ship it. So hopefully you can make your money
movie,
back.
Flight of the Phoenix.
Oh God!
Rip it down and make it so it can fly, so I can get out of country.
Yeah, with bubble gum and duct tape. So here's one that I was pretty excited about. Beechcraft makes some really great twin engine planes. They're awesome. There's a bunch of these. There's a bunch of Cessnas, small planes like this. One of the CEOs from my parent company flew one in. Not this model. It was a different model. But man, they're just the body, the style of the aircraft hasn't changed probably since the 70s or 80s. But it's just a great plane and easy to fix.
Hauls ass too.
The Beechcraft, the Baron 58 probably, I want to say 240 miles per hour.
Pretty fast,
which
for
is
a
good.
prop plane.
Yeah. Well, it's a dual prop. It's piston. It's a piston engine. The Beechcraft Baron 58 starting bid for this guy, not this guy, a plane like this. I have no idea what the ones look like that are on the ground in Kenya, but the starting bid is $102.57.
Oh, I'm sold.
These dudes, these planes cost $1 million back in 2001. That's $1 million plane in 2001.
I wonder how much it would cost to place a bid and have it shipped to the States.
Say that again?
Like, place a bid if you win. After, of course, I'm pretty sure it could go a lot higher than $150, $60 or whatever it is. But I wonder how much it would cost if you did win one of these planes to have them shipped to the States.
Okay. Let's assume that your plane looks like this. There might be bullet holes in it. You're gonna have to pay a crew in Kenya to break it down. Remove the wings, remove the engines, drain the oils and all the lubricants, and of course the fuel. That looks just like it might cost a lot of money just to pay for that. I think you could probably get out of it with if you're going to pay somebody to break that down and do all of the preservation. Assuming that aircraft is flyable and workable, which it probably isn't. The proper way to do that is to go through an inspection, make sure everything is good, then you preserve it and break it down, and then ship it. You're going to get each engine is going to be its own shipment. The fuselage will probably be its own shipment. The horizontal stabilizer and the wings are probably going to be another shipment. So that's 5 crates. You're probably looking about at $150,000 to $200,000 just in shipping costs, and then another $200,000 for the labor to break it down. If you use qualified people.
Okay. So you're still making money at that point, huh? You said this is normally a $1 million.
It's a $1 million aircraft when it's up and running, but then you're going to have to bring it back to the States. You're going to have to pay a crew a lot of money to reassemble this aircraft, and then you're going to have to requalify everything to FAA standards. So
Yeah,
you're going to
no,
spend. So you're going to spend $1 million probably getting this thing
I just might
broken
as well
down and
buy
shipped.
one.
Yeah. But it's just crazy that you can go to Kenya right now, and these auctions are happening starting. I think it's today, and it's going on for like 2 weeks. But you can get something cheap. If you want to move to Kenya.
I'm just wondering what Kenya's like FAA, what their version of FAA is, and what kind of licensing, quote unquote, you need. Because I can just get up in this thing and fly it out of the country.
Yeah, I don't.
Might not be able to land it. I could get it up, keep it level.
When I was in Iraq, we did some training with some Iraqi civilians to maintain aircraft that we were providing for them, and it was a lot of pressure on them, because these were folks that were not a technical. They weren't of a technical mind. They were just, wanting to help out, and we were trying to train them to work on these aircraft. So they're working on these aircraft that we're providing them, but they're, they got, cigarettes hanging out of their mouth, and there's open fuel cells, and it's the way that we do things here in the United States is it's a lot different than it was scary. It was really scary. It was fun, and I loved the experience. Would I do it again? No. Not now. Not now. Maybe later. Yeah, I work with a guy who is from Kenya. He was born in Kenya, was raised in Kenya, and I give him and I use the ice. He oh, I don't believe this. He's an engineer, and I make things for him, and he brings these. He's like, okay, here is the drawings. And I'm like, I'll bet you're going to have some changes in about 2 days. And he goes, nope, this is the way it is. And I'm like, okay, so I'll make it the way that he says. And he brings me changing. Oh, we're gonna change this. I'm like, oh, I don't believe this. So I'm going to thank ICE for that. Lovely. But yeah, he's going back to Kenya this probably the beginning of the year back to visit his family. Army sergeant, he got out. He did probably 12 years. I think he did 12 years. He got out, went to school, got his degree, and now he's working for us. Cool dude, really cool dude. So it's hot here in Texas, and I'm like, oh, it's Africa hot here. He goes, oh, you don't know what hot is, He just. He lived in an area of Kenya that was not that hot, up in the mountains.
Well, he's just making funny at every point.
Yeah, he's like, I don't even know what Africa hot means. Hey, man, it's been a great show. It's a little bit earlier, about 15 minutes early, but it's been a good show. We've had a good time. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out here. Got a lot of people still here. And I think a lot of them are like looking at the auction.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure people are Googling this right now.
So I do want to let everybody know that there's not going to be a show next week. I am going, not on a vacation. It's my daughter's birthday. I've got 2 daughters. Their birthdays are separated by about 2 weeks. So I'm going to go see my daughters, and I'm going to Montana next week. I've got to find my jackets, because it's really cold up there. We got really cold this week. It was 36 degrees when I woke up this morning.
That's crazy.
Funny story. Wednesday night, came home from work, and the weather forecast says it's going to be in the 40s. I'm like, great, this is really good. It was almost 80 degrees during the day, and it was like slowly cooling down, and the low temperature was supposed to be 46. I'm like, man, this is awesome, because I'm going to have like open windows. This is open windows weather. So I got ready for bed. I opened up my bedroom window. I'm like, this is going to be great. I woke up at 3:00 in the morning, and of course it was 46 degrees outside, and it was 64 degrees in my house. And I was not comfortable, so I decided to get up. I put another blanket on my bed. I closed the window and went to the bathroom and went, damn. But I haven't turned on the heat yet, so. Now it's probably 65 here in the house right now. I'm going to go a couple more days without turning on the heat.
Oh, we're running to heat in the house.
Are you really?
It doesn't go below 68 in this house. No, it won't. Although you got to think, I got my grandfather's 75, my mom's in her 60s. So, I mean, they get
it's
cold.
kind of whatever they're comfortable with. If you want to be cool, you get into that room that you're in right now, open a window and be cool by yourself. But don't submit your parents to that. and I'm waiting for that because I'm going to go and see my parents over Christmas, and I know they're like that, and they're in Wisconsin, and that's where I hope to grab a beer with. Oh my gosh, what's his name? Luke? No, it's not Luke. It's not the Baconator. USS Cobia Man. Where is he? Can't remember his name. Oh, wow. There's been a lot of chat. I'm really happy to see all the chat.
Yes. I'm actually enjoying that myself, actually.
Oh, it's Ben.
The deal with the phone number.
It's
Do
Ben.
people just call in? Yeah, if you want to talk about a subject, you can call in. We try to keep it on subject and no toilet humor. Simple as that. And
we're mature adults here.
Banned. Yeah. You'll be banned.
What's the deal with the phone number? Is that the one that you're reading? Do we just do people just rant? Sometimes they do. If I'm in the middle of a thought or a train of thought, I won't answer. Sometimes we can join. We can merge the calls, so it's like me and Pooky and whoever calls in. That kind of works out. Lately, it hasn't been working like that. So if I answer a call, that means Pooky goes away. And then he'll have to like call in and stuff after we get done. But anyway, yeah, we're always happy to get calls. But we're going to end the show right now because it's Friday night and everyone needs to do their thing. If you guys are pre-gaming for something else, I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Please, and I know Pookie's going to say this, don't drink and drive. It's a lot cheaper to call for an Uber and pay that cost as opposed to $10 or $12 or $15 or $20,000 in legal fees.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't drink and drive. Don't do it.
I don't have any housekeeping for upcoming shows. I know that there are some Veterans Day events that we're doing. ICE is going to publish those. I don't have all the details on that, so I can't talk about that. So I hope everybody has a super awesome weekend. Thank you very much for joining, and we are on the air 4 days a week. Monday is the Monday edition. Tuesday is Pop Culture Warrior with CQ and Radar. The Monday edition is going to be Ice, and it's usually Flash, but Flash has been kind of busy. Last I heard, he's in Antarctica, so I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
Thursdays is Sergeant's Time with Ice and Spanky. Spanky made her return. So Spanky's been on hiatus for a while. Ice has been on hiatus for a while. They are both back now, and Sergeant's Time is awesome. And you can always come back for Friday Night Freedom and just hang out with the very mature and very responsible Koz and Pooky.
I don't know about responsible. But...
well,
me at least.
Okay. Yeah, the older I get more of a conscience, and I'm just like, just do the right thing. So I'm a do the right thing kind of guy. Captain Wayne Baconator says, I only drink and drive on the PS4.
That's fun to do.
That's a good way to go. All right, everybody. Thank you all for being here, and we will catch you on the next show, which will be on Monday. Shots.
This is WTF Nation Radio.
Wear a condom? We're in Fayetteville. No one gets STDs here.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Is it necessary for me to drink my own urine?
Radio.